Oh boy, here we go. All right. Welcome to my next episode in the kind of Clan Boss Guide series. I promised to get online and do this video right after we discussed the new masteries and took a look at like Aothar, War Master, and how to run. What was the last comp we ran? We ran Aothar, Tyrell, Juliana, Apothecary, and Royal Guard. That's right, we looked at Royal Guard mechanics. And I believe in this one I wanted to kind of give a go at debuff caps, and things of that nature. However, something has been brought to my attention on Discord, and I feel like this just absolutely needs to be addressed before we actually go into a guide. I'm kind of not interested in making content for a game that just blatantly takes a shit on everybody who plays it. So if we look at these things, you see I'm not very far along. I just did my Void mission, so I've kind of unlocked all the way to Justiciar Fusion, and I can kind of get into the third leg of my Arbiter quest. That being said, because today was Void, a lot of people in my clan have been able to progress through, and they've just hit their legendary tomes and unlocked the kind of string of gray missions for Arbiter. And so we were all interested to see, what kind of bullshit, like, ascend 20 champions to 6-star, or just kind of bullshit quests that they're going to have us do in order to get Arbiter. And I fully expected it to be absolutely awful. I fully expected it to be like max your Great Hall for like all 4 elements in accuracy and resistance, or even worse, just resistance, because I mean, that just seems like something that nobody's going to work on naturally, so when the quest comes up, they're just going to be like, oh shit, I got to do all of this farming. Well, it's even better than that. Plarium, just, you never cease to amaze me in your absolute fucking stupidity. So, I want to share a nice little screenshot that a guild, a clanmate, was nice enough to post in Discord of his next quest line. And so it's a little bit small because it's a screenshot from Discord. So I'll zoom in here. I know this is going to be really hard to see, but I just want you to take a look at this dungeon mission. Clear stage 20 of the Ice Golem's Peak 10 times on auto. Dungeon mission. Clear stage 20 of the Dragon's Lair 10 times on auto. Dungeon mission. Clear stage 20 of Fire Knight's Castle. Clear stage 20 of Spider's Den. Deal 100 million damage to the Demon Lord on Nightmare difficulty. Now, the 100 million damage is totally fine. But seriously, what the F is stage 20 of the Ice Golem's Peak? Literally, I made a video at 1.7 ranting about how the only new content they added to their game were these progress missions. 75 and then 60. Lo and behold, you can't even complete these progress missions. They are not in the game yet. So they released a patch hyping up the new content that they didn't really release. They just kind of threw it out there. They said it's there, but it's not really there. And that, to me, is a big middle finger to everyone who plays the game, who saw the new content, who pushed for it, refreshed, did all this stuff so that they can try to get Arbiter as fast as they can, dealt with your stupid rotation on dungeons to begin with, dealt with your stupid time gates that are just designed to slow people down for no other reason than let's just make them take longer. What the fuck were you thinking, putting in missions that aren't yet in the game? Like, it's bad enough we don't have 6-star artifacts. Now we have missions that for stages that don't even exist. And let me give you an example of the kind of service that you get here. Here's the Discord official response to this by one of the moderators. So my my post is, "What the fuck is this? How dare you release a patch with new content, hyping that you release these new missions that are currently impossible to progress." This guy writes, "Not sure what that is, but must be going to be possible soon." So yeah, so thanks for releasing placeholder missions that can't be completed, but telling us that everybody should work as hard as they can to get the Arbiter. Yeah, fuck you too. So, end rant. I'm going to continue doing the video that I said I was going to do. I just felt like that just absolutely needed to be addressed. And now that made me thirsty, and I'm already in a bad mood. So, alright, let's get to it. I don't want to mute my sound. Alright. So we took a look at Royal Guard, and we discussed like the two kind of debuffs that you wanted between weakness and defense. And I think I recall saying that if you were going to drop one, drop weakness, because it's not so important. Now, let's look at the clan boss, and we had kind of a bad run at 13.99. Hey, look, we down brutal. We're getting pretty good at that. 13.99. Here we have a guy who's averaging 15 million. I've never been beaten. I think this week I might be beaten. So let's see. I have 2 keys. We'll run it back. And the different team that I want to try is to use Aothar. Now, Aothar, or Aothar, or however you want to call him, where is he? I see you, but I don't see you. So mine's not super geared, so I guess that's like an initial caveat is I don't have the cooldown. That I don't really care about his cooldown because I never use it. But his main thing is every 4 turns or every 3 turns once you tome him up, he puts 4 5% poisons for up to 3 turns each. So this guy stacks poison. You can get him to go so fast that even without the cooldown reduction, he's doubling up his poisons. Like, he's putting new poisons on before his old poisons come off. But for sure, once you get that cooldown reduction down to 3 turns, this guy is going to hit. He's going to be putting more poisons than you could possibly imagine on the boss. So he's a DPS machine. As far as debuffs go, 5% poisons do 50,000 on Nightmare. They aren't affected by defense down. They aren't affected by weaken. They're just kind of flat, and they don't contribute to lifesteal. So you can't you can't like forget about defense down and weaken, because you still want your War Master to be hitting hard, because War Master A is a lot of damage, and B is your kind of source of healing. So if that goes down, then your team becomes kind of susceptible. The main issue with running Aothar and any sort of debuff extender, which is kind of the new hotness right now, is that there's a 10 debuff limit on the boss at any one point. And the mechanic here to understand is that they don't drop off the old ones as new ones get put on. So for example, if you have a 1-turn weaken and you reapply weaken and it's a 3-turn weaken, that 3-turn weaken will kind of sit on top. It'll push the 1 turn off. It'll count as though the 1 fell off and the new one replaced it. With entirely new debuffs, if you have, say, 10 debuffs on the boss, and you've got 4 poisons that each have 1 turn on them left, and the boss is about to go, but you have 10 debuffs, and Aothar goes and hits his A2, not a single one of his new poisons will stick to the boss. They'll just be completely wasted. It's not like the new poisons will apply and then just like push the oldest poisons off of the left side of the debuff list. They'll just stay where they are and the new ones won't apply. And the reason this is a huge problem is because late rounds, I think we discussed in the last video, Tyrell's attack down is absolutely crucial. Because if you don't have the attack down, then the boss will end up one-shotting your team, and there goes all of your damage, especially on squishy DPSs. So when you're running a team like this, it leads me to start to prioritize buffs and debuffs. So weakness, I think, becomes the, pardon the pun, the weakest of all the debuffs. And it also starts to kind of weigh in favor of buffs. For example, when you're using a debuff team, for example, with Aothar and maybe War Chief or Septimus, you really don't have room for debuffs. Attack down and defense down might be, it might even be hard to keep those up. So things like defense up become very, very beneficial because they're essentially like an extra mechanic that isn't limited by the 10 debuff stack. Because Aothar himself is going to completely just rape the boss with poisons. Now you can kind of manage it, and so that's what we're going to try to do. But in this, I think in this build, we do drop Aethel, and we run Tyrell lead with Aothar as a DPS alongside Juliana. It works because we're not using a debuff extender. If we were using a debuff extender, this would be just too many poisons. Like you could take Juliana's poison attack skill just out of her rotation completely, because you would just have too many poisons and they would never be dropping off. So let's find Tyrell, let's find Aothar, let's keep Royal Guard in there. So this is kind of like a balls to the wall DPS team, because we have 3 pure DPSers, Tyrell and Apothecary. So this obviously will not last as long as, say, a team with like Skull Splitter as opposed to Royal Guard. My issue with going with Skull Splitter, though, even though he does bring the defense up, he brings 2 extra poisons that you can't avoid putting up, and you start to like really run into those problems. And you become completely reliant on Tyrell's attack down only, defense down only. So that becomes like your only defense down option. Another option that I could try is to take out, to keep running Aethel in the lead and take out Royal Guard, and see if we can run with the weakness. That might be what we do in the second round today. So let's start this up and see how this one plays out. Tyrell should be able to keep his attack downs, but because he is in the lead and he doesn't have that defensive mastery tree, he might die. He might get stunned and not put his attack down enough. Sorry. So we'll start it off like we regularly started off. Defense down. So there are the poisons. Okay, so now we're at 6 debuffs. 8. And you don't want to use Aothar's last skill. This skill is kind of cool because the boss can't be sped down. So I think it might still you could still use this and not have to worry about it. So let's see. Okay, debuff blocked. So yeah, you can't put speed down on the boss, so it's okay to use Royal Guard's third skill. So at this point, we're just waiting for Aothar's buffs to kind of fall off, because I think we were at cap there. But as you can see, we were at cap. Where would the weakness go if we were running Aothar in that particular situation? Like, something wouldn't be on the boss, whether it be the weakness or the defense down. But later on, if you'd have to choose between being able to stick a weakness and being able to stick an attack down, you're going to always want that attack down. Unfortunately, you won't be able to control that because Aethel's weakness is on her 1A. And she's going to apply it regardless. There's no way you can avoid her using her 1A. And so there are going to be times when that might screw you, and you might get killed because of it, and like kind of end your fight like 2 to 3 rounds early. So as you can see, our War Masters are only proccing for, I think, like 69,000 or something. Let's pay attention. 62,000. If they had weakness on as opposed to defense down, they'd be proccing for like 59 or 57 or something like that. So it's slightly better to have the defense down than the weakness. Another thing that is beneficial to do with this is to kind of leave a gap between Aothar's 2 and Juliana's 2A, so that they're not both applying the same turn, because then you really need 6 debuff spots. So if you can kind of stagger them, the problem is it's hard to keep them staggered because they each get like turn meter increases based off of those support mastery skills differently. So usually one will catch up to the other eventually. Alright, so HP burn needs to always be on, because that is 75 a tick. We're at 5 debuffs. 1 poison will come off, so let's lay those on there. So yeah, so this guy, with that skill, he just laid down essentially 3, 6, 9, 11 turns, 11 ticks of poison at 50,000 each. That's 550,000 damage with that skill, plus whatever he hit on War Master. So assuming he hit with the 67,000, that's 617,000 damage on that hit alone. That's a lot of damage. Let's see, defense down, get his attack down. With this team, I kind of want to prioritize attack down as much as possible because I never know when I'm going to get stunned. You got to really pay attention to this stuff up here, the cooldowns. So let's hit with this 2. Hope for crits, good, 250. And so now, here we go. We're in a situation where her 2 is up, but we have no room for him. So I'm not going to use it. We'll just kind of eat that cooldown. And hopefully that doesn't happen too often because that eats into our Juliana damage. And it's going to happen again because the boss is not going to go again. But here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll stick them on there. Okay, we only got 1 anyway. And so you don't want, and so it becomes a question now, like Skull Crusher on a debuff team, it could be good, but it could also kind of hurt you because Skull Crusher, while he brings that awesome counterattack, he also brings a completely useless debuff on his 1A. He brings heal block, and you don't want that. I mean, if you're trying to do debuffs and you're trying to maximize your DPS, you don't want a heal block that does absolutely nothing for your team on the boss. Just takes up a slot. And because it's on his 1A, ostensibly he'll be putting it up all the time, which is annoying. Essentially makes it so that you can only have, 9 debuffs on the boss. Defense down, attack down, weakness. Now you're looking at only 6 debuffs on the boss. With an HP burn, the max you can have is, 5 poisons. And so you're really limiting yourself there when you run a tune that will inadvertently put on an extra debuff. And a lot of this is just my own musings as to what I'm noticing when I'm trying these different teams out. This is turning out to be a really slow run. Let's pick it up. And so, again, I highly do not recommend running Tyrell as your lead. It's detrimental because you want to run him support for the extra chances and the extra lengths on the extra like extended debuff timers for his attack down and defense down, but that just means he can't like sit and take that stun. So there might be a better person to put lead. In this situation on this team, there's not really somebody that you really want on lead. You could do Royal Guard. Royal Guard probably has the least amount of use for accuracy, and putting him on the defensive tree would be okay, I think. Apothecary is also an option, but you really do like the extension on his speed buff. That's really, really helpful. All right, let's launch our poisons. Reapply HP burn. Defense down 3 turns. So like we could deal without a 3-turn defense down. A 2-turn defense down, probably okay if Royal Guard had a little bit more accuracy. My Royal Guard has pretty shitty accuracy, so he doesn't apply it all the time. But a little bit more on him, I think taking him out of the support tree would be fine, putting him on defense. But that's just something you gotta kind of play with and work out on your own. I don't recommend Tyrell as the lead. So Aothar is on, in case people were wondering, I'm not sure if we covered this. Aothar is on Giant Slayer. His first attack is a 2 hit, so technically it wouldn't matter, but because all we use is his first and second attack, we don't use his third attack, he averages more than 2 hits per attack because his second attack hits 4 times. So therefore the math turns out on the Giant Slayer side of things. So you want to run him Giant Slayer. It'll be an overall slight DPS increase over many, many runs. Let's see, we don't have an attack down, so let's get that. So here we didn't get our attack down. That's a pain. We didn't even crit on that. That's also a pain. So like there's definite room for improvement on a lot of these runs. Okay, so I think this is the situation where we come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, we just squeaked it in. So if this were late in the game and we had one more poison, we wouldn't be able to attack down, and the boss is about to go, and he could wipe us. We might not get the attack down, but at least we have the opportunity. Boom, we got it. We're safe. He comes and hits us, and it's not a big deal. Alright, so I'm glad these kind of situations are presenting themselves in the video so that we can like stop and check them out. Alright, we have a 2-turn one. Speed up. My Royal Guard needs more crit. He just needs better gear. I mean, that's all it is. Ooh, he missed the poison. Okay, that gives us room for debuffs for sure. 4 turn. Sorry, I'm drinking lots of water tonight. We just got back from a Vietnamese crawfish place. Pretty sick food, but spicy as hell and kind of salty, so I am thirsty. Really, really thirsty. And I mean, I'm just generally salty over those shitty quests in the patch, so. Defense down. Good. 262. We are down to no debuffs. Get a defense down, good. An attack down, good. And heal yourself up, good. Reapply poisons, boom. Steal in an extra 10k damage. So it's important when you're running this type of comp, it's important that you have at least 2 turns on your attack down when Tyrell gets stunned, because maybe he'll get an attack before the boss, but maybe he won't. So you're going to want that buffer. Like right now, my Tyrell will beat out the boss because I have this buff up, and that'll give him enough turn meter increase to get back to him to reapply that. But if I couldn't, it could be a problem. If I had only had 1 turn on my attack when he got stunned on my attack down. Gathering Fury. Okay, he's just enraged right now. And we lost all debuffs on the boss. Okay, so I don't want to hit that yet, because we don't even have a defense down, but it's risky. Good, at least I got a heal. Okay, 3 turns. We're good. He's all stocked up on debuffs now. Now we're just wanting War Master procs in order to heal. Apothecary should go before the boss. Give himself a chance to heal up. That's dangerous because he didn't heal. He might actually take the stun. Yep, there he goes. That was enough. So we looked at Apothecary. He was probably around 3 bars missing. He ended up taking the stun because Tyrell was full life. So 30% life lost actually generates more threat than the defensive aura that Tyrell provides. So that's a good example of that mechanic that we talked about in the last video. And so now the problem becomes, will Apothecary even get to go again? He might just die outright right there. And so that's the big danger when stuff like that happens. Yep, he might just die right here. Oh, he didn't. He lucked out a little. So this is dangerous. We could try to heal him. If I get a crit heal, he'll heal him to full. If I don't get a crit heal, he'll be low again. And the next turn we're going to do speed increase. So we're basically saying that Apothecary, you're dead. We could maybe outspeed the boss at this point. Let's see. The riskiest and the the best outcome is if we just attack him and get, you know, like double Giant Slayer proc, and we go to full. So let's try that. We got 1, but no defense down, so we ended up getting shit heal. It looks like he might outspeed the boss, though. Nope, he won't. Okay, so we're pretty much sacrificing our Apothecary, I believe. Maybe not. Let's see. Maybe we get another turn and we get lucky. Okay, big heals here. Ugh, not so big. He didn't crit. Oh, he's going to take the stun, but he won't die, I don't think. Oh, maybe he won't, because Tyrell's not full. So you see now the difference in the health bars is about 2 bars between Tyrell and Apothecary. So we'll see who takes the stun. I predict that Apothecary will take the stun, but I think it's going to be really close. Tyrell might take the stun. Apothecary did. Alright. Sweet. So Apothecary should effectively be dead at this point. Unless he gets really good. Nope, he's dead. He won't even go. Alright, we need War Master procs. We need him. We got no more heals. Oh, there goes our Royal Guard. And so this comp falls apart pretty quickly. Once it starts taking the hits, it dies pretty quick. So all we got are squishies. So at this point, HP is just kind of the do you have the threshold HP to not get one shot while the boss has attack down? It'd be really nice to get another set of poisons from Aothar. That'd be pretty cool. They're healing themselves very well. Oh, Aothar couldn't get it up. Got a... Okay, the stun will go to Tyrell. And right now we're just squeaking in as much damage as we can. Okay. At least we got all of the HP burned down. Alright. That was not bad. Juliana. Okay, so see, 16.28. Juliana capped 6-2, and Aothar pulled 5-2. And Royal Guard, he died a little bit early, I think. But and he also didn't crit a few times. So that's what you're looking at. A pretty decent run, but it's a hard run in as much that you have to kind of pay attention, and you really can't just you go balls to the wall, you go auto, you're going to have a really high spread in possible damages. That's the issue, is you might kind of the AI might screw you, and you might only get like 10, 11 million on auto. All right. So what are we at total? We're at 30.2. I'm pretty sure I can auto and get, what do we need? 9 mil to, yeah, we need about 9 mil to get the ultimate chest. So let's I don't know if I should put Royal Guard on the lead. No. Let's run. What could we do here to vary it up a little? Oh, what was the call? Bring in Aothar for somebody. Okay, so drop the Royal Guard. Bring in Aothar. Put back Tyrell, and then let's run this on auto and see how this one does. Should be pretty interesting. Full auto. So you're gonna have an issue because we're gonna have defense downs, we're gonna have weaknesses, and we're gonna have that debuff block that Aothar puts on his second or third skill. Maybe he's immune, or maybe a cooldown block or something. Maybe the boss is immune, and so the AI, the auto, won't get super fucked. Let's see. The one good thing is our War Masters hit harder. As you're seeing, we're hitting for 70k, 77,000. We got weakness, defense down, attack down, HP burn, and 6 poisons. That's like it's pretty much perfect for us. We're missing an attack down at this point. Got the defense down, but we're still missing attack down. It's still early, so it's not a big deal. And Aothar is on Giant Slayer currently. She'd be more efficient if I were running her manually on Giant Slayer, since I would only be using her 1A, and she'll occasionally do her second attack AoE, but I mean, that is what it is. It's the nature of the convenience of being able to do shit on auto. So it's good. Aethel's still sucking up all the stuns. I'm not too peeved about that. And Tyrell's doing a pretty good job of keeping defense down up just on his own. Poisons? Yep. I like this. This team feels like it works well together. Defense down has fallen off, but we have that weakness to kind of make up for it at the time. Ooh, only one turn left on attack down. And mind you, again, we're still not skilled up on Aothar and his cooldown reduction on his 2A. So all of this kind of like theory crafting, it could change completely once I get shorter cooldown on that skill. So Aethel's almost to the point where she's going to become immune to the stun 50% of the time, which is cool. We'll see how good they heal themselves. Poor Aothar didn't get a proc. Oh, Apothecary sacrificed himself. That's a little early. Hopefully he gets a lucky proc on his Giant Slayer. No, he did not. He's going to get the stun now. So, I hope that if anything, during my last two videos, we've at least established the fact that the stun is not random, and that it's pretty easy to predict who's going to get the stun. And if we don't know exactly why, I think we have a pretty good idea why. We might not know the exact numbers or perfect mechanics, but I think we've narrowed down what the bosses actually do. Oh, he died to poison. Fuck. All right, 528 on auto is pretty good, I would say. If we make it to 6 minutes, this should be a pretty big damage run. Everybody's healing themselves fairly well. Oh, Aothar ate it. She didn't go immune. Or she doesn't go immune technically. She just removes it instantly. But she healed, so that's good. No, Royal Guard. No, Tyrell, you need to put attack down, sir. Come on, proc. No. Oh, Aothar, there you go. Get that counterattack. You need to heal yourself, girl. Aothar's dead. I think our DPS just died. There it goes. Okay, so at least Juliana survived. Aothar just put poisons up, so he kind of maxed out on damage. We're at 630 on an auto. That's pretty nice. Oh, he started getting super enraged. 15.43. You can't be mad at 15.43 on auto with Apothecary only doing, sub 1 mil, because he kind of died stupidly and early. So, like I said, guys, that's it for a clan boss for this type. What I want to do now really quickly is we'll skip. I think I'm still... Wow, this dude did a little bit more than me. Fuck. He's probably going to talk shit in Discord. Don't talk, Tagasm. Don't talk. It was for instructional purposes. So I'm just joking. It's not important. I think it's cool that we were able to kind of look through these mechanics. Let's see. What we can do now is, I talked about debuff extension, and there are a few characters who do that. Notably, one of the orcs. No, it's not Angar. It's this guy. Wait, is it this guy? Warlord? No. Oh yeah, it is. I don't know why people call him like War Chief. Here you go. Attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. This is on his 1A. So this with Skull Crusher, and this is why you see teams running only Steel Skull as DPS and doing, 25, 30k damage on, so 25, 30 mil damage on Nightmare. It's because they have this guy. This guy he's getting teamed up with a counter attacker, and they're using Skull Splitter, Skull Crusher, and Warlord, and essentially just constantly putting up poisons. Once they reach debuff cap, you're hoping that it's like defense down, attack down, weakness, defense, and 6 poisons, and then this guy is just extending the poisons, extending the poisons. And if he goes enough, this guy will extend the poisons to the point where they just don't come off. They're just up. And every single time the boss goes, he's taking, 6 poisons plus 75k. So that's like, 375,000 damage. Every turn, just non-stop for the entire duration of the fight. That's useless. Places block debuffs on allies. Places a shield buff equal to this champion's max HP and heals. So I mean, this dude's just awesome. He extends all the debuffs and he heals the team and puts a shield up. So between his shield, the blocking debuffs is kind of cool. Once the boss turns to a specific affinity, he'll put accuracy down, which is annoying. So this is kind of cool to block debuffs. So, but between the shield and Steel Skull's defense up, you start to really be able to extend these fights if attack down is on the boss. It starts to be really cool. Another guy who does that is a pretty, I'd say, overlooked champion for a clan boss. People don't really talk about him, but Septimus. Septimus's passive is that each attack has a 30% chance of increasing the duration of debuffs by 1 turn. So, like, everything this dude does is going to extend those debuffs. So, amazing. It's even called Giant Killer. So, like, obviously this guy was meant for clan boss. Not only that, but damage inflicted by each attack increases by 30% if the enemy's current HP is over 50%. So if you get a void boss when he's over 50%, you're just doing 30% more damage. And on top of all of that, if that weren't enough, his second skill scales with enemy max HP. So it starts to hit just like Royal Guard's second skill for 200, 250k when he's geared properly. So pretty awesome guy. Jealous of the people who have him. I think once they, hopefully they watch this video and they're alerted to it. This guy is super, super, super fucking good on clan boss. The only thing is this guy is obviously going to be more offensive focused by providing you extra damage and then extra damage here. Whereas Warlord is obviously a little bit more defensive focused by providing, shields and heals. There is one other one that extends debuffs, and I do not know for the life of me where she is, or he. I believe it's a she, and I believe she is epic. I'm going to see if I can see her face. I don't think it's Battle Sage. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to figure it out. Is it Canoness? No, this is just a useless character. It's not Romero. It's not these. I don't believe it was Hope. No, she has a shield and extends buff duration, and then she removes buffs. Was it Lightthorn? No. So anyways, this might be just completely futile, so might not be a smart thing to just sit here and try to figure out. None of these pictures are really catching my eye. However, if you guys do happen to know who the other person that extends debuffs is, please drop it in the comments. I think everybody would appreciate being... Ooh, it might be this one. Erinius. Oh, here we go. It's a 4-turn cooldown. So obviously this is not ideal. I don't think you would pretty much ever use this person in clan boss. She does place poisons on her 1A, and so between that and extending them, she could be a little bit synergistic. It's just she's just I don't see her working. If this was on a 2-turn cooldown or a 3-turn cooldown, maybe I could see that as being, you know, pretty good. This is the only thing that I think is really cool about her is the increased accuracy. So that's really nice. You can save up a lot of spots. Just have a banner and this plus accuracy sub on your neck, and then you're set. You could just go like all defense and speed and crit damage and all that good stuff, and be saved by the banner in this case. So, anyways, guys, that's about all I have for this debuff focused clan boss tutorial guide / demonstration, whatever. I hope you guys are starting to see kind of combos, what's necessary, what's unnecessary, and kind of understand the mechanics behind what the clan boss is doing and how you can maximize your damage on him. This caveated, of course, we're going to have to kind of revisit this series once the 6-star artifacts come out. Everything's going to change. Karam might become super useful in popping poisons. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen once the 6-star artifacts come out, because of the fact that we're going to be outspeeding the boss so much. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. This one got a little bit lengthy because of the long first fight, but I hope it was worth it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace, and enjoy grinding it up. Don't try to get Arbiter because she's fucking impossible to get.